Am I the butthole for screaming at my GF after she picked the bathroom lock while I was in the shower? Throwaway because I have to admit something really embarrassing. I 24M just had a bad fight with my GF on a 24F. We met early in college, started dating 2 years ago, and then moved in together 3 months ago. I always thought we were great together. She's smart and funny, we've had the best talks and have similar views on science and politics. But we moved in together and she got upset because I take long showers. I don't like to talk about it, but I'm a hairy guy. Think Luther from Umbrella Academy. I quit sports when I was 13 because I couldn't deal with what the other guys would say about how much body hair I already had by then. So I shave my whole body, and yes, it takes a while. Anna and I have never talked about my shaving, but she has to know I shave from feeling the stubble. So Anna started questioning why I spend so long in the shower. I should have just told her, but I was too embarrassed to say it takes a while to shave, so I said I just like thinking in the shower. Then yesterday while I was in the shower, she used a screwdriver to pop the bathroom lock and caught me shaving. She put her hands on her hips and told me I was wasting water, and I yelled at her to get out. She didn't leave and lectured me more on wasting water. Then I shouted again a lot louder for her to get the F out. It freaked her out and she slammed the door behind her. I was mad and took a few minutes to cool down and think about what I was going to say to her. But when I got out, she had locked herself in the bedroom. I could tell she had her back against the door and was crying. She said I scared her and that I showed her that I wasn't the kind of man she thought I was. I told her she had scared me, and that it didn't even make sense why she did it because we don't even pay the water for our apartment. She got more upset and said I didn't even understand the problem because I showed her that I could be violent and abusive, and I just needed to leave. I tried to keep calm and asked her to come out so we could actually talk about what happened, but she just kept saying I wasn't who she thought I was and I had to leave. We've argued about ideas but never had a fight before, and I swear I've never yelled or cursed at her before that. I hate fighting with anyone and am normally the more calm person when our friends have things going on. I feel like my whole world just suddenly fell out from under me. I don't think this was my fault, but I also think none of this would have happened if I wasn't so self-conscious about the body hair issue. Or maybe if I had just been honest from the beginning and told her why I take long showers. I'm sure this relationship is over now and things are going to be messed up for a while, but I just want to know, am I the butthole for causing this whole mess? Update. I am a complete idiot. I'm writing today hoping to save someone else from making the same stupid mistakes I made. I'm trying to think of where to start because after this last weekend, I don't even feel like the things that happened in my first post even matter anymore. Basically, my GF Anna popped the lock, the bathroom while I was shaving in the shower to yell at me for wasting water. I shouted at her to get out, which scared her bad enough that she told me to leave our apt because she was afraid I could hurt her. People here warned me to be careful with her after that, but I thought I knew Anna better than anyone on Reddit, and I thought for sure we would be mature and talk about everything once we were both calm. I sent her a text and said we could talk whenever she was ready about what happened, or that if she just wanted me gone, then we could talk about that too and come up with a plan to separate. I waited, but she never texted back. Then at work on Friday, I got called to the front desk. There was a police officer waiting for me there, and at first I thought something terrible might have happened. Instead, I got served a restraining order. The whole time I was being served, I got confused, and I don't know what I was thinking. I know I didn't pay a lot of attention to what the cop was telling me. After he left, I did the stupidest thing anyone could do after getting an op, and I texted Anna. I asked what was wrong, and if this was a mistake, because from my end, this was just a huge misunderstanding, and that if we could just talk, I knew we could clear this all up. 2 hours later, 2 police officers came all the way up to my desk and I was arrested. Like handcuffs and everything in front of everyone I work with, and I was dragged out of the building and taken to jail. I have never been in trouble in my life, and I never once thought I'd end up in jail just like that. I got processed like a full-on criminal. I didn't know what else to do, and I called my parents when I could to let them know what happened. My hometown is like 6 hours away, but they found a lawyer and then drove over as fast as they could overnight to bail me out. Right now, we're all staying in a small hotel while we figure out things with the lawyer, and I can't even process how things got here. I'm supposed to have a meeting with my boss and HR on Thursday, and I have no idea if I'm going to still have a job. All I can do right now is give others a warning to take things more serious than I did, especially getting something like an op. Even if you think there's no way it could be real or valid, don't be an idiot and question it like I did. Go straight to a lawyer. OP added the following follow-up comment. I'm still so confused as to how things are where they are, and there's a lot I don't know. But I had a meeting with my lawyer after he got the report on how I got a restraining order. After everything that happened originally 2 weeks ago, the police were called. They spoke with Anna and some neighbors at my apartment complex, and 2 people told police in the report that they heard me yell "F you," and then they heard loud bangs. I know the fight we had didn't happen the way those people said it did, but my lawyer says it's going to be hard to defend against multiple people who said that happened. There's also something about photos of bruises, but I have no idea when or how that happened. My lawyer thinks the biggest problem is the neighbor's report, and I think they just didn't hear everything that happened through the walls the way it actually did, so we have to try and find someone who will say that they heard me shout I actually shouted, and that should help a lot. On the bright side, I had the meeting with my job, and my manager really defended me. We all agreed that it was a lot of drama that never should have happened at the office. But as long as I don't end up with a felony on my record, I will get to keep my job. So the big issue now is that Anna has a lawyer, my lawyer is talking to her lawyer, all communication has to go through them, and I'm hoping we can find a way soon to get all of this under control. Thank you to everyone who sent their thoughts and ideas of what to do after my last post. I'm sorry I just haven't been able to bring myself to read through them after everything that happened, but I'll try and get caught up on them over the next few days. Next story. Am I wrong for not wanting to invite a friend and her family to a group cottage trip? Last summer, my friends and I planned a group family cottage trip for the 1st of July celebrations. One of our friends has 5 kids, while the rest of us either has 1, 2 kids or no kids. There are 4 families. Last summer, our friend with 5 kids basically dumped her kids on the rest of us to watch. Her husband basically ditched her and his kids to drink with the men and join activities. One incident of this happening was when my husband and I arranged for him to get some time with the guys, while I planned an intentional hike scavenger hunt through the woods with my 2 little ones. My one friend with the 5 kids heard about it and asked if her 5 kids could join me, while she could take a quick nap and then she would come get them later. I wanted to say no, but then she already told her kids about it and they were excited to go, so I didn't want to say no to them. Well, she never joined us later. I couldn't handle all 7 kids, especially with her kids being super energetic. I got back to see her chilling with the men. When I asked her why she didn't come get them, she said got distracted and forgot. My other friends were saying how, because she is more my friend, that I should not invite her this year. They also don't want to spend this year's cottage trip babysitting or breaking up fights among her kids. On the weekend, my friend with 5 kids was asking me if I had booked the cottage yet. I haven't because I want to talk to her first. Would I be the butthole if I told her to make sure if she plans to go to not dump her kids on others? Or would I be wrong to not invite her? What should I do instead? I am open to suggestions. Update. I am super thankful for all the advice. Your advice aided me in my conversation with my friend. It didn't go well, but it was expected. Below is how it went. We were talking on the phone and I brought up the cottage trip. The conversation went something like this. Me, I was wondering if you wanted to plan together another fun activity we can do this summer, just your family and mine. Maybe a bonfire at the beach in August because it was a little more work with the extra kids last year at the cottage. She was open to it, but thought I wanted to cancel the whole trip. When I told her I was still planning to go with the other families, she was confused. Things she said. Muskoka, where we are going, was the highlight of her kids' summer last year, and they were excited to go again. Her kids will be so disappointed. Me. I apologized and told her how last year it was a little hard. I explained why it was hard and gave her a few examples of what happened last year, and she didn't view those situations the way my other friends and I did. For example, with the scavenger hunt one, she said she honestly forgot and didn't understand the big deal if my kids were also having fun. I told her the big deal was that I didn't have fun and it took time away from me spending it with just my kids. Her, what's the point of a group vacation if everyone is doing their own thing? I told her that coming together to do bonfires, BBQs and stuff is fun, but we also come up here to spend time with our individual families, and all of us chipping in towards a nice cottage allows us to do that. She then went into a rant about how different she and I are because she believes that if all the children had fun at the end of the day, that's what she cares about most. When you decide to have kids, you give away your freedom for your children, and everything becomes about them. Our conversation wasn't going anywhere really, so I told her that I just don't want to have to think about multiple children on a vacation. The only children I want to think about are mine. I also don't think it's fair for my other friends to have to keep an eye on her kids when that's not what they plan to do. Next thing she says is that she understands and didn't mean to put her kids on us, but it's hard. Also with her husband not helping. How she deals with her kids every single minute of the day, and the 1 week in the summer where she wants to relax a little, the world does not let her. If she is drowning and asking for a lifeline and no one helps, then what is she supposed to do? She knows it's no one's fault but her own, but she wishes she could meet someone who could selflessly help once in a while, because that's what she would do if she saw someone in her situation. Ben goes into another rant of all the ways she's helped people despite her situation. I say I sympathize with her, but that unfortunately I can't be that person for you because I have to put my family's needs first. That I will never be the person that will let my family suffer, even for a little while for the sake of wanting to help someone else. Asked her if hiring a nanny for the week on the trip was possible to help relieve some of the stress. That was when she got mad and said that I am just like everyone else who will never understand, and hung up on me. Later she sent me text saying, "I just wanted to say that I am not mad that we are not going. It's more so the fact that you already decided that you don't want me there without giving me the chance to come up with a solution. It's clear that you see my kids and I as a burden. It just hurts that all this while you claim to be my friend and want to be there for me, but then ditch me after you built up my hope for a friendship. Suggesting me finding a nanny is crazy. You know that I couldn't afford that. Those who've had an easy life will never understand. And it's like they say, no one really cares. Enjoy your trip. I have a lot to think about." I haven't responded, and I don't plan to. I just feel as if everything I have done for her is not appreciated. I have been the listening ear for to vent to. I've invited her family over lots of times for dinners. My husband helped drive her and husband around a few times when they didn't have a car. I got my friends on board with letting her not pay her share for the cottage booking and had her only chip in for food. She also knows that my life has not been the easiest. I booked the cottage now, and I'm excited for the upcoming trip with my other friends. Next story. Am I the butthole for telling my wife she's free to find a hotel room if she doesn't want my daughter here? My daughter Anna is 16 years. She was in an accident when I was 24. Anna's mother and I were never together as a couple cause it was a one-night stand, but we have maintained a friendly and healthy co-parenting since she was born, and we became good friends. My daughter's has been living on another continent for a few years with her mother and stepfather, but she wants to come back because she doesn't feel comfortable there and misses her family and friends. Anna doesn't know their language well, and it's still hard for her to learn it fully, so she feels really lonely there since it is different to speak your native language than to make friends by speaking a foreign language from zero. I spoke with my daughter's mother, and we thought it was a good idea to let Anna live with me. Her room is now my home office, but I can easily put together a room for her again. We didn't confirm anything. I talked to my wife about it first, and I was sure that she was going to be okay with that because we literally talked about that possibility before. The problem is that my wife doesn't want that to happen. My wife and Anna have never been close because they only meet in person for our wedding when I was able to pay a ticket for my daughter to come. That was the last time I saw my daughter in person too. Plane tickets are too expensive. But they do tend to talk a little bit when I make video calls with Anna every day, but not too much. Anna also talks to her brother and he likes her a lot even if they just see each other in video call. My wife says Anna is not going to feel comfortable in a house with strangers, and I told her that we are literally her family, and she said no. She and our toddler are not Anna's family because they barely knows her in person. It honestly hurts me that she thinks that way, but I understand her point of view. Altaf, our toddler, is Anna's brother, and it really annoyed me that she said that because our little one really loves his sister even if they just see each other online. I had an argument with my wife about it, and I ended up telling her that my daughter will always come first of all, because it's true. For me, my children will always come before any other person, and she knew very well about my daughter when we married. My wife got angry and said that bringing Anna home would change how we handle ourselves and that she doesn't want to be a stepmother. She said that Anna lived with her mother in another continent, so it's not the same as having her right here every day. I told her that no one is asking her to be a stepmother because I will be the one who take care of her. As always, my daughter used to stay many days and even months with me, and I was the one who took care of her. I'm not going to give my wife all the work because I was a single father for a long time and I know how to take care of my daughter. I work, I clean, I cook. I take full care of our son when she works and wants to go out and do something just like she does with me. We both support each other in raising our son. I don't know why many people is so shocked about the fact that I take responsibility of my own child, but that if she doesn't respect my daughter's presence in the house and hates it that much, then she has all the freedom to go to a hotel room. I was a big idiot because those words obviously ended up really bad and we had a worse argument. My daughter has every right to live in my house if she wants, but my wife doesn't want that. I really love my wife, but my biggest focus is to give the best to my children, and I would love to have my princess here after years. My wife hasn't been talking to me at all, and she's very angry. But she does continue with the same stance that she doesn't want Anna here at all, and I know I will get angry and we will end up arguing again because I'm not going to leave my daughter alone neither. Edit. My wife always knew that Anna lived with me several days a week when she was still in the country because I talked with her about that and the possibility of Anna's family returning to the country if things went wrong. That would have meant that Anna would come back to live with me for many days or even months like she always did. My daughter used to come at my house every day too. My wife agreed with that years ago when we talked about that, but now admits that she thought my daughter was going to stay out of the country with her mother because their business is going really well. Throwaway because my daughter uses Reddit too. I changed some data to not make it too obvious. Edit 2. Guys, I've been reading the comments non-stop for 2 hours, and I have too much to think about. Thank you very much for the advice. Whether bad or good, this is helping me to reflect on several things that I did not take into account. But please don't be so harsh because I'm a real person, haha. Update. I'm sorry, but I decided to delete the post because a weirdo started to just spam my private messages with different accounts, and I don't know if I can put the account on private or something like that. I don't use this site too much, but a bot started sending me messages asking if I needed help, so I think my account could get banned because of that person doing this, and I'm too old for this, so I just rather post the update here where I can at least close the comments. Guess the post will be here if someone cares. First of all, I want to clarify that I am from a third world country. Here it is really expensive to get a plane ticket, and if I travel I must do it with my wife and our son too, so it is too much money that we cannot pay. I let my daughter's mother take her to another country because, like every father, I want her to have better life opportunities. I don't think that makes me a bad father, but I guess the minds that have always lived in privilege don't understand. The last time I could afford some tickets was for my daughter to come to the wedding. Not all of us have the privilege of paying for a plane flight. I've been thinking a lot, and in fact I'm the because of the way I treated my wife. Even if most of the comments agreed with me, I don't think it was right to say that to the woman I love even though I was angry. I apologized to her for what I said and the way I said it, but I told her that I don't like it when she ignores me and gives me the cold shoulder when I try to talk about our issues, and the fact that she denied the familiarity between our son and daughter was just cruel. She apologized for it and said she was angry and said things she regret. I made it clear to her that Anna is coming because no one can forbid any of my children to live with me. Not only morally, but legally I am totally obligated to give my daughter and son a house. She tried to argue, but I asked her how she would feel if we divorced and my new girlfriend refuses to let our son live with me just because she didn't sign up for it. I asked her if she would appreciate a man who abandons his children for a woman more than a man who cares about his children. If she would feel confident knowing that she is married to a man who abandons his children that easily. My wife said no, that obviously she knows how much I care about our children and hates the kind of mans who abandons their kids, that she knew she wanted to have a child with me because she saw how even though my daughter was so far away, I made video calls to her every day and we always help each other with things around the house. Then I asked her why she rejects the idea of my daughter being here, and she admitted being jealous of Anna. It is something that I have noticed in the past. For example, for one of my daughter's birthday, I sent money to her mother to buy her a dress that was quite expensive, and my wife just said, "I guess you will buy our son something just as expensive." It was my mistake to let those comments pass and think they were just a weird joke. She said that she doesn't want my daughter to come and took time away from our son. That bothered me, and I told her that if we had 2 children my time would also be divided, and that as a father I can give the same attention to both. Changing our routine doesn't have to be a negative thing, and she knows that Anna is not a problem teenager. We talked a lot, and I explained to her that I just want to make everything work for both of us. I apologized if I made her feel bad with the way I treated her. And I told her that I want to really hear what things are bothering her so we can understand each other better. We agreed to have better dialogue and communication about this kind of things. My wife admitted that her jealousy is wrong and feels embarrassed about it, but it's how she feels, and she feels awful for feeling like that. I told her that feeling isn't right. Being jealous of my daughter isn't right. And I told her that it would be okay to start going to the psychologist if we want to fix this, because I'm not going to leave my daughter live in a place where she doesn't feel loved. My wife accepted after talking about it a lot these days, and she wants to work on herself about that because doesn't like feeling like that about a little girl and knows it's wrong. My wife and daughter always had a nice treatment. When I make video calls with Anna, my wife usually talks a little, but not that much. I think my mistake was not offering my wife to make video calls alone with Anna like Anna does with my toddler sometimes. My daughter really likes my wife and calls her auntie, even if they don't know each other too well. So I don't want her to know how my wife really feels about her. I offered my wife to teach her how to play the same video game I play with my daughter so they can play together and get to know each other more. I know Anna would love that. They both have a lot of same interests. She accepted and said she loves me and wants to try it for me and for our toddler. If I leave my wife, I would be breaking my son's house. He's my baby too, and the last thing I want is letting adult matters affect him. I don't want to do that, and I love this woman. I want this to work, and I'm going to do my part for it, but the first moment she treats my daughter badly, I will end things with her, and I clarified that to her, and she was right with that and promised me to work on this. I still haven't confirmed anything to Anna's mother about the date on which our daughter can come since I need to fix the room for her first, and I want my wife and little girl to get to know each other better. Talking about it with my psychologist, he told me that the best thing is always to get them closer little by little before Anna comes to live here. This last 4 days my wife and Anna have been talking longer, and I told Anna that we could teach my wife how to play with us. Anna feels really comfortable talking with my wife, and they started talking about random things which I feel out of because I don't understand about the things they talk about. But I'm pretty glad to see that they actually have things to talk about. I suppose a lot of people are going to call me an idiot for not divorcing my wife because that was what most of the comments told me. But it's not all that simple as, yeah, we argued so let's get divorced and have 50-50 of custody. And I personally think it's been better for us to have spoken up like mature people instead of just getting divorced. Seeing that my wife has opened up to me and is trying to work things out, I prefer to give this a second chance and hope that she can see my daughter as her friend and even as her family if she allows it to herself. Your wife is going to treat your daughter badly. No one can read the future to say that, but I can work to make that future not happen. In the meantime, I prefer to maintain a positive approach since my wife has never behaved badly with my daughter, and my daughter knows that if she feels uncomfortable, she knows she can talk about it with her mom, stepdad, or me, as we always teach her to talk to us about anything that makes her uncomfortable. Anna has a sharp tongue, so I doubt she'll stay quiet if my wife makes any comments that make her uncomfortable. I'm not going to force them to be best friends. I want them both to flow on their own. I'm also not going to use my daughter as a free babysitter as many in the comments suggested as a supposed solution, and both she and her brother can live in this house as long as they want. Edit. In the previous post, several people said that my wife also made a post here, but it's false. She doesn't use this site. Edit. I don't understand why, but I've been getting a lot of notifications from that bot from a Redditor who thinks I need help and private spam messages from different accounts created literally today. I really don't know who's doing this, and I don't understand what's the fun of annoying like that. Just block me. Update 2. I didn't really think about updating again, but I remembered that I have the account and I thought, why not? Since I have free time in this moment while I take care of my toddler. My daughter and my wife's relationship is going very well. They both make video calls to watch some series together that they both like. They have even started to have inside jokes that I don't understand, but I think that's something good, although to be honest now I feel a little left out just joking. My wife has been going to the psychologist and me too. I want both of us to get better together to work on her insecurities and problems, because she knows that feeling jealous of my daughter is not good at all, and a few weeks ago, she talked to my daughter about her feelings towards her and apologized. My daughter was quite surprised to learn that my wife felt this way, but accepted the apology and told her that she understands her. I left them talking alone that day so they have privacy, and after that they have had a closer bond. My wife said that my daughter told her that she will always respect someone who is sincere and wants to be a better person. In the previous post, many said that I decided to bring my daughter without talking about it with my wife before, but that's literally what I did. I never confirmed anything to the mother of my daughter until I spoke with my wife. I was never the partner of my daughter's mother, BTW. Many comments mentioned her as my ex-wife, but we were never anything. The talk about bringing my daughter back was paused because I wanted them to know each other better before living all together, but my wife started to talk about how she wants to decorate the bedroom and rejected all my ideas because they're too boring for a girl. So she's having fun redecorating the room with our toddler, who's really happy to see his sister in person. We still didn't arrange a date because my daughter's mother have to talk with her high school for the problems there and everything, and I have to prepare everything here too, but all is going well step by step. I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share, and subscribe the channel Jane Stories.